What is up, guys? It is Weebra, and today we are going to talk about top 10 shonen manga to collect. Emphasis on collect because I think there's a lot of shonen out there right now that is probably great, like GTO. GTO is considered shonen, and it's probably, one of the best in the genre, but to find GTO is like, you're not going to be able to find it for cheap. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to stray away from that aspect and just kind of stick to stuff that we can go out and buy. There's multiple formats. You can get omnibuses, box sets, singles, whatever you want. Just a bit of warning, there is some stuff on here that I do not own, but I have to put on here anyways. It's stuff that I plan to get. Nevertheless, I do add those in there because I feel like it's appropriate for this, and it wouldn't feel right if I didn't add them. Again, this is just my personal opinion based off of what I enjoy and just the way I see things, I guess. Okay, so the first one is kind of a cheating one. It's not really considered shonen, but I mean, it's shonen. Most people can agree that it's technically shonen, and it is One Punch Man. So if you haven't heard of this already, this is probably a series that gets recommended very, very often to new readers of manga, and for very good reason, because the artwork is incredible and it's got comedy, and it's just kind of an interesting take on the superhero genre. I think just for the art alone on this, it's worth collecting. Murata is probably the most famous artist in Japan as far as like manga artwork goes. He's a legend. To be able to have it in combination with this specific writer who also wrote Mob Psycho 100, it is awesome. So it is being published by Viz Media, which is probably one of the more higher quality of publishers right now in manga. As far as action goes and comedy, this is just super good. Murata is very famous for drawing very unique poses with his action. It's honestly, it's sick. He's very good at drawing bodies as well, drawing perverts out there. Yeah, these are awesome additions. Definitely pick this up. It's ongoing right now, so you get the joy of waiting for the next volume, going to go pick it up, all that good stuff. And I think that's a big part of the fun with collecting, in my personal opinion. But nevertheless, One Punch Man, this is my number 10. Honestly, it's number 10, but there's no real order to this. All right, next one, I am going to talk about one that I do not own yet. I'm kind of waiting for the box set to come out, but it is one of my favorite animes. It is one I haven't fully read through yet. I'm still waiting to get the physicals, and that is Claymore. Claymore is a dark fantasy shonen, and it is probably, honestly, for a shonen, probably the best in its genre. But Claymore it's just so awesome. It essentially revolves around these half demon, they're called Yoma in the series, half demon, half human, and they were kind of made to combat the infestation and the attacks of Yoma. They're all exclusively women, and it's honestly so cool to see it in action, the different fights. It's very dark and scary. It's definitely a classic, and right now the box sets are being sold for like $500. They're gonna eventually reprint it. It's bound to happen. If not, you can probably just go find the singles, but nevertheless, I had to add this one in here because I think this is one that it's gonna be a timeless classic for sure. If you're a fan of that genre, fantasy and all that good stuff, you definitely want to pick this up for sure. Okay, so this next one is also fantasy, and it's kind of one that is a little bit polarizing. Not a lot of people like it, but I definitely want to add this to this list because I think it's definitely solid, and the artwork is just so good. It feels like every volume is just high quality. I don't know if they're gonna end up coming out with a box set for this or not, but it is Black Clover. Yes, I said it, Black Clover. I think this is a great pick. It's one that is ongoing right now. It's new, it's fresh, and I think manga wise, it's going to be very hard to be disappointed in this. There are some fair criticisms about this, such as kind of certain parts being a little bit better, but that's just what you get with shonen, you know what I mean? There's hardly any shonen out there that is just perfect from beginning to end. That's just a fact, right? I think with Black Clover, it is just so consistent, and the artwork is so beautiful. I watched the anime first and I regretted it. I say this all the time, but I definitely regret it because this is just incredible. Like, the action is just drawn so well. It revolves around this guy here named Asta, and he does not have any ability to use magic. And it's very interesting. It takes like elements of Hogwarts and just makes it its own. And there's a lot of inspiration from Berserk here. There's even references in this to Berserk, which is awesome, kind of like paying respects to the master of the fantasy genre. It's just awesome because he doesn't use magic, but as a result, he has to use his brawn. and stuff. So he's hell-bent on proving everybody wrong in classic shonen fashion. And there's so many good classic shonen tropes in this that it just does them so well. And I think the characters themselves are a lot of fun as well. You have a lot of lovable characters in this, and the fights are awesome. Seeing his growth is very satisfying, which is a big aspect in shonen. You know, you want awesome growth, awesome development. Plot is pretty damn good as well. Like right now where we're at, it's awesome. And spoiler alert, I don't put any of the big three on here. I think because for one, people are gonna know those already, and two, it's just kind of hard to pick any of them, you know what I mean, to go on this list, because you know some will like one and some will not like the other. I honestly like them all. I think I like Naruto the most so far because I haven't finished One Piece, but it was kind of difficult for me to put Naruto on here because a lot of people don't like Naruto, and it's kind of hard to get into because the beginning is feels a little bit too much for kids, I guess, you know. But I think the beginning is still solid. Yeah, it takes a lot to invest into, but with Black Clover, I think I was invested into it from the start, and it kept that consistency. It just would get better and better, you know, and I think that quality definitely counts. It's one that I personally love, and it's one that you will probably continue hearing about from people who defend it because it does get shit on a lot. Like I said, you know, there's good reason to some of these criticisms, but I think this is awesome. Definitely check it out for yourself. The artwork is it's just so cool. It's great, but nonetheless, it's awesome. It's high quality, and the spines are pretty great as well. The spines are pretty great. Anyways, check it out, Black Clover. All right, up next is one of my favorite out of this list, probably my number one out of this list, and you probably have been hearing about this as a result of a recent anime announcement, and that is Chainsaw Man. Now, I feel like Chainsaw Man is getting heavily criticized now because of the amount of hype it's getting as a result of the anime, but do not let the hype get to you, because this is a one-of-a-kind experience, especially for the shonen genre. This is the most seinen-like shonen that I've ever read, and it is just awesome. Look at the aesthetic of that. You got suits and just chainsaws and a pretty awesome main character, a very controversial main character. I think he's funny and original, but it's just carnage, you know what I mean? And it's so satisfying. One of the feelings that I get in Berserk is like when Guts goes in and you just feel so satisfying, and it's just so awesome. And this has given me that feeling, which very often shonen doesn't give me. You know, shonen gives me different feelings, you know what I mean? Shonen ignites different emotions in me, but that specific thrill is present in this, and the art style is unique. It can be a little bit rough sometimes, you know, like you may have to get used to it, but really you're just like, oh, this is the style of Fujimoto, you know, you come to love it. The designs of the monsters and of the devil powers, they're just awesome. And this has one of my favorite character dynamics between the main character and another character named Power. It's currently being published right now. It's on like volume 7 or something like that, as far as I'm aware of. Is it on volume 8? I can't remember what volume it is on right now, but it can be difficult to look for this, but it's constantly being reprinted, especially now as a result of the anime. People are going to be buying this like crazy, so there's no way they're not going to continue to reprint this and restock this. But it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, I would get in on this now before the anime comes out, because you're going to be in for such a treat. To watch this come to life is just one of the most satisfying things. Like the trailer alone, like was just like, oh my god, dude, it was so awesome. But yeah, don't let the hype affect you. Go in this to just have fun. It's very quickly paced. You can check it out on the Shonen Jump app. It's on there, and I think you will not be disappointed by this. Definitely check it out. So this next one, I do not have the singles for, but I have what are called the Colossal Editions. It is also another fantasy and another dark series for the genre of shonen. It is Attack on Titan. This is a Colossal Edition. This is sort of spoilers, but not really. You've probably seen this character. Yeah, spoiler alert, Donkey Kong is in Attack on Titan. But yeah, Attack on Titan is probably one that I think definitely deserves the praise that it gets. There's a reason why this became a phenomena, and man, nothing has ever really captivated me the way Attack on Titan did. The writing was just so awesome. It created this world that I thought was so unique. It just kept me going, you know. I kept wanting to find out what it was. Like, I hated when I have to wait for the chapters, dude. Oh my god, it just drove me crazy. Like, I just had to just wait until it, you know, it piled up chapters so I can get into it again, because I just couldn't stand reading it chapter by chapter. Like, I forget how often it would come out, but it was just awful. But yeah, Attack on Titan is just great, and there's multiple editions. There's this edition here, Colossal Edition, which are expensive, but they're very high quality, aside from the fact that the covers look a little bit bad. The page quality is insane in this. Probably some of the better pages that you're gonna run into. with anything. But the singles are great. There are little box sets for it that you can find, but there's an omnibus that is coming out, a 3-in-1, which you can wait for that as well. And you know, it's just awesome having these different options for a series that is just like one of my more beloved series. Like I just got so into this series, and I just loved it so much. Like, this is great quality, man. I mean, just look at that. Look at Donkey Kong. He looks great. Yeah, there's a lot of carnage in this, but it's definitely more than just carnage. And just, you know, my first impression of it, which why I avoided it for so long, was like, I was like, oh, it's another like zombie like thing, you know what I mean? It's giant titans and eating it, like, oh, they're just trying to like freak me out, you know what I'm saying? But oh boy, was I wrong. You know, boy, was I wrong. It definitely just becomes this, you know, like I mentioned, just this awesome story, and I think you will very much enjoy it. You know, most of you probably have already heard of this, but yeah, if you haven't already gotten started on it, I definitely recommend this one for sure. This next one I do not have, but I had to put this on this list because, you know, I think the shonen sports subgenre is very, very important. And as far as genres go, sports genres are such a unique experience. Once you find the right sports anime, it becomes such a special anime for you because there's just a level of relatability to it that, you know, is not really present in a lot of these more fantastical shonens, right? And, you know, the awesome thing about sports is that it can apply to either different sports or just different aspects of your life in general, like teamwork, you know what I mean? Like what it means to lose and to push and keep going forward ahead and stuff. And I think that's why sports is so popular to watch as well, just in everyday life, professional sports. But I had to pick one, and unfortunately my personal favorite is Ace of Diamond, but that is not out in English. It is a baseball one, so I had to pick one that I think is probably the kingpin of all sports shonen, and the best and the safest bet by a mangaka who is, you know, a master, you know, definitely a master, and it is Slam Dunk. I've only watched a bit of this and I stopped because I definitely wanted to continue through the manga, but right now I'm waiting for the box set to come out, and it's unavailable, so I'm probably gonna slowly pick up the singles for this and end up picking up the special editions that are currently out in Spanish, just so I can read it in a good format. But as far as like a collectors go, this is one that you definitely want in your collection. If you can find a deal on this, a full set, maybe a deal on a bundle, definitely pick this one up for sure. All right, now we're gonna get into a very, very special one, and one that you see a lot in collections for good reason, because it has some of the best editions that I've ever seen, and it is JoJo. You know, JoJo is beloved for a very, very good reason, and you know, this is one that was hyped up to hell for me and did not disappoint once I finally got into it. You know, it's such a unique and one of a kind experience. Like nothing else on this list, no other story in any genre or anything will ever be like this. This is seriously a work of art. It's a masterpiece, and they come in these awesome hardcover editions that are just incredible high quality, and they're bound so great. They have awesome bindings, incredible print quality. You know, it's kind of hard to get into. The first part is definitely rough, but I think it's not a lot to get through, and once you do get through, around the end, you start to get a feel for what it becomes and what JoJo is about. So don't let the beginning kind of deter you away from the series, because he evolves very, very fast as far as artwork goes and quality of storytelling and all that. So definitely check this one out. I would put this on your priority list for sure out of everything on this list, but it's a classic. It's awesome. Definitely check it out. All right, next up is one that I do not have yet as well, but it's one of my favorite series of all time, and it's a very important series. And you know, a lot of people may not like this one, but I think it's something that is a safe bet and something that, you know, every good collector would want in their collection of shonen, and that is Dragon Ball by Akira Toriyama. You know, I specifically put Dragon Ball and not Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball Z is definitely different. It's awesome, and I would recommend it too if you do end up liking Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball really represents what shines about Akira Toriyama's writing and what makes this stuff special, because it's such a fun comedy and adventure, and there's still a little bit of that spice that, you know, is present in Dragon Ball Z. You definitely see that aspect in Dragon Ball. It's technically one series. It's technically just one Dragon Ball, but in the US they kind of changed it. They added the Z to it, but you know, early Dragon Ball is just kind of it's just great. You know, is it the best? No, but I think you're gonna really, really love it if you haven't gone into it. Out of all of the older series series that are out there. It's definitely one that I would comfortably recommend. You know, the box set, it kind of goes out of stock every now and then, but you know, it does get restocked. And I'm not sure if there are omnibuses out for Dragon Ball specifically. I know there are Vizbigs for DBZ, which are awesome quality, to be honest with you. But Dragon Ball itself, you know, even the anime is great. It has such a great anime as well. I love the VA for Goku. He's so awesome. And just Goku is such a great character as a kid. He's just so lovable and innocent, and it's awesome. A lot of the characters that you see in Dragon Ball Z are present in Dragon Ball, and they're actually strong. You know what I mean? It never, you know, you never feel like a character is just useless and just there for, I don't know, for, you know, for no reason, you know, where they contribute to nothing to the fights. You know, Yamcha's in there, Piccolo, Yajirobe's in there. It's a classic. You definitely should look into adding this to your collection. All right, let's go to another one of my all-time favorite series of all time. It's got an awesome anime as well, and it is Death Note. This is definitely an awesome one to get into as far as collecting goes, because there are black editions and there are singles, and there's even interesting omnibus, which is an all-in-one, which, you know, I don't recommend, but these black editions are fantastic. Look at that. These are awesome quality. You know, I'm not really a fan of the spine here, but whatever. You know, you can have it all. This is probably one that even if you're new to manga, that you definitely have heard of, and for very good reason. It's such a great mystery thriller shonen, and you know, if you like kind of detective stuff and suspense, this definitely has that. And it's supernatural as well, because you know, there's shinigamis, basically like deaths, basically, you know, grim reapers, and it's just a lot of fun. The artwork is done by Obata, the story is written by Oba, and they're a very famous duo, and they have a lot of other work, but I think this is their best one, and it's something that you should definitely check out and add to your collection. All right, last but not least, this is one that I think is practically flawless, even though a lot of people find it boring for whatever reason. You know, whatever, you can't please everyone, right? But I think this one's definitely flawless and truly a masterpiece, and it is Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. So this is an adventure steampunk magic series, and it is written by a female mangaka, Hiromu Arakawa, and it is, like I mentioned, a masterpiece. It's awesome. There's different editions. You know, this specific edition is the Full Metal one. It's hardcover. It's some of the best editions ever. It's like a 1.5 in 1. You see this a lot in collections. It is just some good stuff here. Check that out. Just incredible quality. But you know, as far as the story goes, the characters, this is just, it's so good. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an enjoyable read. It's got 2 animes. It's got one that is, you know, not really true to the manga. Then the newer one, which everybody loves, is Brotherhood. That one's great. You know, and the manga is just as great, if not better. Honestly, for shonen, dude, like, you can't go wrong with Fullmetal Alchemist. You just can't. People call it like a great introduction to anime and manga and stuff, which, you know, which is true, but it definitely deserves the praise it gets. You know what I mean? It's just so good. The art style is great. There is a box set that, you know, goes on sale very often, and there's even omnibuses in addition to the singles. So pick your poison. I would definitely save up and buy the Full Metal editions because it's fantastic. But if you just can't wait and you just want to get to it in the most economical way, definitely check out the box set. You can probably find those used for very cheap because, you know, most people are selling them to get the Full Metal editions. Yeah, this is fantastic. But yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Like I said, you know, there was some stuff that I omitted. I did not add the big 3 in this, but I think any of the big 3, which is Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto, is a safe pick as well. You know, if you're vibing with any of those, definitely add them to your list. You know, they all have box sets, and you know, they all have omnibuses as well, which is a safe bet. But you know, as far as like, you know, like my personal favorites and what I think is some of the best shonen out there, this is my list. I think it's a safe bet with any of these. And you know, this is all stuff that you can kind of go out there, pick up a volume. You're very likely to run into it in the aftermarket. There's always people selling these. You know, you can definitely find ways to start collecting any of these, but definitely keep an eye out for these. Look for deals, you know, Facebook Market, Mercari, OfferUp, Craigslist, whatever. You know, there's some stuff. I try not to add comedy in this because I think comedy is kind of like, you know, it's too hit or miss, so it's very risky to recommend that. You know, there's some great comedy shonen out there for sure, but I just kind of omitted them because, you know, even as a collector, I'm like, I would be picking these up before any type of comedy, to be honest with you. Even as a huge fan of the comedy genre, you know, these are just fantastic. But yeah, like I said, you know, I'm behind on some of these as well. I need to pick up Dragon Ball and Slam Dunk. You know, maybe I'll do a top 20 video later in the future because there's definitely a lot of great stuff out there that, you know, aside from these very kind of so to speak, obvious answers. There's some interesting stuff that I think people would probably like to see, and you know, take their shonen collection to the next level. So maybe I'll do another 10 recommended or something. But yeah, nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, it was kind of a quick video, but I thought it would be something worth making, and I'm definitely gonna do it for seinen as well. There's gonna be a ton of stuff with seinen because there's so much good stuff. It's my favorite genre, obviously. But nonetheless, this is my top 10 shonen to collect. Definitely leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment for anything that you feel deserve to be on this list. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.